in there yet.
Oof.
It's okay. I've talked to nobody before.
Yeah.
I know I always wait till it freaking pops up over here, even though that's really stupid because it means it's already been playing. And welcome to NOVAtazz Customs. This is Season 2, Episode 4. And today's topic is stupid people on the roads, whether it's drivers or pedestrians or what have you. Welcome, Jacob Smith. You are our first commenter. Anyway, so stupid people on the road. Stories, that is our topic of tonight. We will still have our usual what's in the cup, maybe what's wrong with the truck if there's any of us with vehicle issues. We will hopefully, if Chris joins us tonight, he is our resident long-haul trucker. We will have the what's in the truck story. Let me introduce to you my co-host, Big E. Lovely bunch of coconuts in the comments.
I thought you were going to only say a lovely butt of coconuts.
Lovely butt of coconuts?
Yeah. Sounds uncomfortable.
Yeah, that does sound. It sounds quite uncomfortable. You gonna introduce you? You gonna say hi? Or
I did. I said howdy.
Yeah, but I literally just totally blew over you.
Oh.
Because I wasn't done talking.
Well, I don't know what to say.
How about hello?
Hi.
Hi.
My camera more out of focus than usual.
I'm not quite positive. If you upgraded your camera,
we'll see with taxes.
We'll have one of these self-adjusting ones. I think the one that
I got a big metal box over here. I need to upgrade first.
Yeah. Well, that should have me build it for you.
I can build a computer.
Sure.
I can build a computer better than the guy who built me this can build a computer, probably.
Probably. I didn't realize I have another set of headphones in here. I was actually looking for the other. It's not in here. I actually have another webcam that does not play well with this computer, which is why I don't use it. But it's the same thing as the webcam I'm using right now, which is a C922 by Logitech. I think this one's under $100.
I think that's the one we have at the store, actually.
1080p. I think. Yeah, I think it only does 1080p. I don't think it does 4K, which I don't know who would want 4K at a webcam, but somebody might.
That's weird. Apparently.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, unless you're viewing certain content that you can't display on YouTube. I mean, you might want 4K. I don't know. Yeah, a comment from in my messenger from earlier. So yes, cars, computers, girls, beer, food. I don't know. Typical car guy shit is what we talk about in here. I already know Mitchie Mechanic knows exactly what we're talking about. Jacob, I know this is not your first time in here, so you should know the deal as well. Totally unscripted, just whatever the hell pops into our head, whatever you guys talk about in the chat. We just go with it. We're hanging out here with you guys. You guys are hanging in here with us. And we have a Grant in the building. Or is it a building?
Is YouTube a building?
I don't know. Hey, I just pulled a rookie mistake.
What, you didn't mute your phone?
No.
Right.
Does not mute my phone. How the fuck do I ever make that freaking mistake? No, mute. Thank you. Buick is back up and purring. Well, congratulations on that. I think you did that wasn't that the intake gasket? If I remember correctly? A lot of shit. I have a lot of information packed in my head over the last week starting a new job. So don't mind me if I can't remember crap, but I can't normally remember crap anyway. Just extra stupid this week. There we go. Grant says he's an architect, so YouTube could be a building. I'm gonna save my stupid drivers or stupid people on the road story for a little bit. Hopefully, get a couple more people in here, and let's see. Biggie, you got a small one to start with?
I'm sorry, a small what?
Well, wasn't talking about that, but okay. A small story.
Really? All right. I was driving home from work one time, and Me and the guy in front of me were making a left turn. Actually, I don't think the guy in front of me was making a left turn. It was just a spur of the moment thing because he saw someone on the side of the road, and he goes over to, I guess, park on the side of the road and get out of my way, even though he was in my way. Because I followed him, and he slammed on the brakes, leaving me like right in the middle of the other lane.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you hopefully missed any actual physical connection, right?
Yeah.
By the hair of your skinny skin or chinny chin chin. I think that's what.
Yeah, well, it was a super busy road. Speed limit was only 30, so if someone was paying attention, they'd be able to see that 6,000-pound monster across the lane.
Ooh, that's too bright.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
I'm fucking glowing. Let's turn that down a little.
Turn it down a lot. It's making you look pasty white.
I am already white. Well, we can change that too. Hold on. Any better?
There you go.
Okay, we'll go with a peach color. No, that's still too bright. There we go.
Satisfied?
Hold on. Alexa, turn off light. Is it better? Need to be brighter?
No, that's good.
Okay.
Ow.
I was kind of prepared today.
Kind of.
I say, did anybody got any stupid drivers in the comments here?
Stupid ideas.
We got Michigan saying that the fuel lines blew out. New fuel lines might have been a little close to the exhaust manifold. It might be.
Whoopsie.
Grant is talking about his giveaways are almost done, so we'll have to catch his next upload on Wednesday to find out what they are. Since 2005, working on becoming a GM world-class tech. Oh, congratulations on that, and hopefully you get a good. Your future looks good. 3 thumbs up and 6 of us here. Yes, thank you, Grant. Well, you know what? Hold on, I have a thing for that.
Oh, geez.
There it is. Boop, boop. There we go. Let's see. Jacob Smith. I hate getting stuck behind people that go slightly under the speed limit and then tap the brakes a lot. Oh my God, yes. I think that's more of a cause for an accident than somebody speeding.
Oh yeah, because then everyone just like bunches up.
It's bottled up, and you get more accidents when people are bottled up than when people are strung out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had one of those the other day. When I was still working down in Warnersville. I have about an hour drive normally, give or take 15, 20 minutes, depending on traffic. And I was, I don't mind. I won't tailgate somebody that's going the speed limit, even if I want to go faster than the speed limit, because generally I drive in Mexico. But I won't sit here and harass somebody that's going the speed limit, obeying traffic laws and road signs and stuff like that, because they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. It's not my fault it's not their fault that I'm impatient. But if you're going 10, 15, 20 miles an hour under the speed limit on a road that I can't pass you, you're going to piss me off. Because most likely you're going to make my hour-long ride even longer. And not to mention that, when you keep jabbing on the brakes or changing your speed, you're causing me to have to react to you. And the thing about when you react to something, the further behind you the chain goes, the less time they have to react behind you. So even if I'm not the one that ends up in the accident, 5, 10, 15 cars behind me may end up in an accident because, again, if I hit the brakes, the person behind me has got to react to me hitting the brakes, and it just becomes that reaction just becomes more exaggerated as it goes back.
Yeah.
It's annoying. There's no reason to go under the speed limit unless the roads are that shitty. And this was a perfectly dry day. The roads were dry. It wasn't snowy or icy or anything. It's just this person fucking going literally 25 in a 40.
Jeez.
Yeah. Talk about annoying. That's even slower than most.
Oh, the last time I was driving home from Bobby's house. Sounds weird, but he's one of the friends we game with, and he just happens to live near me. Right. I was driving home from his place, and on a 55-mile-an-hour road, someone was doing 30.
Oh, that's
a silver Buick
gap. And the thing is if somebody's not paying attention and they're just going 55 miles an hour, you're going to come up on that car going 30 miles an hour pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And that closing gap is what kills people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a 59-mile road, 59-mile. It was actually 59, just under 59. I think it was like 58 mile trek from my house to work, where I used to work. Thankfully, I don't have that trip anymore. Even the longest distance I have to go for work right now, because my work isn't in any one particular spot right now, because their house is spread out through like 2 counties.
Yeah.
Even the furthest, which is the office that I've had to go so far, only took me 35 minutes. So let's see. Gotta keep back on the track here. It kind of shows no greed and 50 miles per hour to work. Hello, pilot. It is 12 o'clock somewhere on somebody's alarm clock.
Yeah.
Or VCR. 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 I hate those stupid fucks that are turning into. Whoop! I just said a bad word. Ooh, hey, quack me out. Oh wait, there's no editor. Sorry, YouTube. All right, I hate those stupid quacks that are turning onto a main road. You're going 50, and they take their sweet old time getting out in front of you, or they jump out in front. They had like freaking. You have like a shit ton of time in between the car in front of you, and they wait till the last second to pull out in front of you.
Oh yeah.
And then they also don't get up to speed quickly.
Oh,
like
yep.
if I'm going to pull out in front of somebody, I'm going to be flogging my horses, to get up to the high, whatever the speed of the road is, as quickly as possible. You should not be pulling out in front of somebody if they have to change their course.
Oh yeah.
If they have to slow down or turn to get out around you. You should not be pulling out in front of them.
Absolutely. I was driving to a friend's house and someone was coming out of the paper mill's main gate.
Yeah.
Well, pretty much their main parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
And some Suzuki something was a newer thing.
Right.
But if I wasn't paying attention, it would have easily rear-ended that little thing.
Ugh. And with your truck, that would have been ugly.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, did you see Send It Steve got an Avalanche for his next project truck?
No shit.
Yeah, it's a white one.
What year?
I can't tell you. It's an older one, I think.
No.
They got first or second gen. I think there's only been 2 gens, or maybe the 3rd gen.
Not yet.
Okay, well, it was the ones with the I would say
the plastic, the black plastic cladding.
Yeah, on the bottom.
Yeah,
and I would say it was before they started paint matching those.
Yep, that's the first gen.
I mean, those are the ones I like the most. I don't like the plastic trim. I would paint it body color, but I like that body style the best.
Yeah,
because that's what the cat eye front end for the GMs.
I think so.
Yeah, it's a sweet looking truck. I always like them, but I think if I were to have to buy one now that they're that old, I don't think I would because of how bad that they ended up rusting out.
Oh yeah.
I think I would just go with just a regular full size GM extended cab.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really give a shit if it's a GMC or if it's an actual Chevy or if it's what is the other one that they had? Was it just the GMC and the Chevys that were in the full size trucks?
I think so.
I think so, yeah. You know what would have been fucking awesome? To have a Cadillac full size truck. Not the Avalanche thing.
Oh my god.
But like a full Cadillac bedded truck.
That'd be weird.
Let's have like an Escalade front end on a freaking.
All it's gonna end up being is you'd have a long bed Chevy with like really nice
front end. And just put Escalade taillights in the bed.
Yeah, there you go.
With the little pinstriping LEDs that they did everywhere for those.
Yeah.
I know, I've always liked Cadillac styling. There's this one road around here where it's never fails. Someone is going 60 in the 65. The road doesn't have great spots to pass. Yeah, that's always annoying. Yeah, it is. Grant said it's a nice upgrade on the commute side of things. Yeah, it is. Trust me, it definitely frees up a lot more time in my day. And as soon as I get this computer done, which, thank God, all of the parts should be here this week, at least to get the computer up and running. As far as aesthetic-wise, that'll come as it comes. My main focus was just to get the actual working parts of the computer here and going.
Yeah.
Aesthetically, that'll be over time. Or I hate the people that don't even try to merge onto the on-ramp until they're at the way end of it, even though they could have got well ahead of that. Yeah, but I've also been at the position where I wasn't able to merge because the people in the right-hand lane don't give you the space to get on until you run out of on-ramp.
Yeah.
You know, the whole point of the on-ramp is to get yourself up to speed, but you can't get yourself up to speed if you can't see a spot where you're going to be able to merge.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like stuck at the end of the road, have to jam on your brakes, wait for a spot, and then you got to go from 0 to 65 in like freaking light speed time. Ugh, that's scary, especially when you're in a car that does not get up and go.
Oh, yeah.
Like we have the two Kias. We have the green Kia, which is a 2012 Kia Soul Plus. That thing, for a little tiny shit box, gets up and goes. It's got like I think a 6-speed automatic, and you got the selective shift too, so you can hold the shifts out really long. And then we have a 2011, which is the gray Kia Soul, and that's a base model.
Oof.
It's got a 5-speed automatic, and I think that's only got the 1.8 liter in it. And that does not get out of its way to save his life. It makes a shit ton of noise like it's going to freaking race the fucking Indy 500 and goes absolutely nowhere.
Because the Kia are like, let's put this engine in it that turns gasoline into noise.
Exactly. That's what it does. It's just, and you're like, did we even start moving yet?
Someone just walks past you and you're just banging over the limiter in first.
But I mean, it's not like it's the transmission slipping. It just has no torque.
It just doesn't go.
Yeah, it doesn't go. Like I said, the green one will spank it. I mean, the gray one struggles to do 80 in Mexico, and the green one's just like tiptoe through the tulips. You know, it's just going. I mean, it's cruising at 80.
Jeez.
Hey, Joe, welcome aboard, and we'll have to get an update on your show truck situation later. But anyway, right now the topic is stupid people on the roads, whether it's pedestrians or other drivers or anything that's road related and people being retarded. Oops, did I just say that out loud? That was so inconsiderate of me.
I know, right?
It's the best word. Anyway, so yeah, there was that. I guess I'll actually tell the story from last night now. We have 10 people in here. Jeez.
Yeah.
But anyway, hopefully we have 10 likes in here. That would be fucking awesome. Anyway, so in fact, I don't even have, I guess I don't need it. And hopefully you guys don't have an echo. Because I just realized I don't have my headphones in. I only have them in to help prevent an echo, so you don't hear anything coming from my other computer. Because I don't want you to hear Big E twice. Nobody wants. Are you okay over there?
No, I'm not.
Dying.
I've been sick with like the plague or something.
Just hopefully you don't have that shit that's in China right now.
I hope not.
Or all the freaking people falling out of the damn sky recently. Not to be inconsiderate, but we just had. Oh, there was an explosion in Texas. That was a warehouse, I think. We've had like 3 major fires in town here. You heard Nikolai last week had to respond to a freaking fire. You had LeBron James that just passed away this morning in a helicopter crash.
It was this afternoon even.
Was that? I thought that was 10 o'clock this morning.
I don't think so.
That's what I heard. I might be wrong. It might have been 10 o'clock in California, which would have been afternoon here.
Yeah, probably.
That would make sense because I do believe it was in. What the hell was that?
I have no idea.
Is that on my end or your end? Because that was a lot of noise.
I think it was on your end.
I don't know what that was. Anyway, that was a scary sound. Yeah, moment of silence for anybody who's passed away in the last week. Okay, rip them. Not being inconsiderate, that was trying to be considerate. Yes, it was Colby, his daughter, and like 4 other people. I'm guessing, assuming the pilot and maybe a crew member as well.
Yeah.
They were included in those 4 people, but I don't think anybody survived that accident.
No.
But yeah, then there's all of those people dying in China from that. I don't even know what it's called. There's some kind of virus.
Coronavirus?
Yeah, corona or something. I know it begins with a C. I don't have. You have to apologize for me. I don't have cable. I don't have any source.
Coronavirus.
Yes, the only source of news I have is whatever I stumble across on either YouTube or Facebook or whatever pops up on my Google Assistant thing on my phone, because I don't watch the news. There's reasons for it. Depression is part of it. I just don't watch it. But anyway, so there's been a shit ton of just really nasty crap going on and around the world in the last like week or two that I have caught little snippets of here and there. Yeah, so there's all of that mess. But anyway, so I saw a couple more people getting here. So Joe just popped in. Missing Mechanic was already here. Jacob was already here. Grant was in here. So was Pilot. Ignited Garage is in here. Welcome aboard. Yes, he just hit, what was it, 1,000 subscribers last week. By the way, we did hit a goal. I'm at 1,650 subscribers. We just passed 700,000 views. And I just posted my 1,600th Instagram post.
Dang.
Yeah, 1,600th Instagram post, and we just topped 450 Instagram followers, which is really weird. 1,600 subs, I got 450 Instagram followers.
Jeez.
So yes, I wouldn't say any of the news are best. They all have their own agenda, depending on who's paying their bills. They're all biased. I don't want to give it. I don't even want to hear it. They're all biased, whether they're Democratic or Republican, or they're biased to whoever is funding them and telling them what they're allowed to freaking put on the news and what they're not.
Yeah.
So I don't ever watch any one news source to begin with anyway, because again, you're going to get a different side depending on what they feel like showing you. Welcome aboard, Classic Ride Society. I think everything's going to end up on YouTube except for YouTubers. That's my personal. Yeah. That's my personal gist on the whole thing. I think YouTube is just going to be another freaking TV news, TV broadcasting service, and all of the things that made YouTube are going to be pushed away. YouTube is not going to be a place for YouTubers much longer, but I'm going to ride this train until it ends. And then I'll find another train to ride on.
There you go.
Because I like sharing what I'm doing. Anyway, so we'll go with my story. We were actually on our way out to go hunt for a new work bag for my laptop and all of that stuff, because being a supervisor, I kind of have to be slightly organized in what I'm doing, and running around with a high school book bag is just not going to cut it.
Yeah.
It doesn't look very professional. So we were on our way out to Best Buy in different places. We were on our way up to Wilkesboro, which is about a 40-some minute drive from where we're at. And my partner had to stop at one of the houses that we oversee because they had a water main break.
Oh dear.
And so we had to put the clients up in a hotel. Not we as in me and her, but we as in the
organization.
And so she had to go in and set up the hotel and make sure that everybody was okay at the house and all that stuff. So on our way there, we were about 5 minutes away from the place, just pulled off the highway, and we were coming up through this stuff. We came up over this little crest of hill. There was a car coming at us. The very last second, just slams on the freaking brakes. And of course, at this point, I was actually looking for a bottle of water at that exact moment. And I look up, and all I see is shoes and bike tires on the pavement. Couldn't even see the guy's body or anything else. He was just standing like half a foot inside the white solid line on the road. So like this is the white line, right?
Yeah.
And this is the road. He was like right here. His whole bike was on the road, standing on the road. And it was like right over, it was like a railroad track or something right there, just like a little slight hill. And we had another car coming, so we couldn't like go out around him. My God, I didn't even freaking flinch.
Jesus.
Like Jess just barely squeaked between the car and him, didn't touch him. And I don't know how she didn't hit him. But yeah, on his part, not on his part, because he didn't freaking do anything. He just stood there.
Yeah.
I mean, like, geez. I mean, I don't even know what the hell he was doing, but he didn't even freaking flinch. He didn't move. He didn't try to get off the road. Nothing. Just stood there.
Jesus.
Like I said, he didn't even move when we went by him. I thought Jess looked in the mirror and she said, he's still standing there. Like, my God, we could have totally just creamed him. We were going 35 some miles an hour coming through this little area. Jesus. You know, I mean, I wouldn't want to be hit in the back by 35 miles an hour by a car.
No,
that would freaking hurt. And the thing is that at that point, what do? Do you hit him, or do you hit the people in the car? You know, coming the other direction. You know, because what if we wouldn't have been able to miss him?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I mean, at that point, you almost wonder, you know, would it have been better to hit the people in the car because at least they have a car surrounding them with airbags and a seatbelt?
Yeah.
You know, even though, again, that's going to be your fault. You know, you're going to be at fault for that accident, even though there's a fucking dumbass standing in the middle of the fucking road on a bicycle.
Oh, yeah.
In the dark, wearing all dark clothes. The only reason we saw anything, again, because of the silver glinting off of the wheels on his bike. And his white shoes.
Good Lord.
Everything else was dark. No, not even like when, you know, you're supposed to have that little red reflector on the back of your just underneath the seat. Nothing. No reflectors on the wheels. No nothing. All the only thing that I saw was the white shoes and the glint of the headlights off of the inside aluminum of his bike tread.
Jesus.
Until, you know, a car came up on him, and then, of course, you could see the rest of them. But by then, nobody would have stopped.
Nope.
You're standing in the middle of the fucking road, doing what?
Almost getting killed.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. I mean, we were all just like, boop, 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 boop. It's like, oh my God. And the thing is it was wet. It was raining, like raining pretty good. It was raining. It was pitch black because you're in a little tiny small town in the backwoods of freaking nowhere. I mean, what was this? Nanatuck, Pennsylvania, I think. It's just a little tiny town just south of freaking Wilkesboro.
Yeah.
Which is out in the middle of nowhere.
Jesus.
And like I said, it was dark. I mean, even if we could see him, I mean, the thing is the ground was wet. There was no stopping. You're just going to slide.
Yeah.
It's just fucking stupid. I mean, like, really, how stupid can you be?
That's stupid.
Very much so. All right, let's see. What's going on in the chat here? Big Money Talks. Right with that, starting with the C shows on YouTube now. Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly what's going on. You're going to end up having more and more big name TV shows show up on the freaking YouTube, and they're getting recommended, which is stupid.
Yeah.
How is a YouTuber that does their own stuff? I mean, sometimes when you get big enough, you can have people that work for you that do the editing and stuff like that. But most of the time, it's a single or maybe one or two people operation supposed to compete with a whole broadcast team. And the quality that they can put out. But then again, that's why people came here to YouTube, because they didn't want that shit.
Yeah.
That's why I went to YouTube, because I got tired of freaking television. Television sucks.
Yep.
Let's see. About to go upload the Wednesday upload. All right, Grant. In fact, I probably bounce. I am not fighting bandwidth between this and that. I'm sorry to hear that, Grant. We'll catch you next week, maybe. And he's probably already gone.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to join your guys. Oh, they're doing an F-body, show this Thursday on I want to say on Jason's channel, the old car auto guy.
Yeah.
So they're gonna have that. I think that's 8 o'clock, 8 to 8:30 ish. There was no sidewalk where we're at, Michigan. I'm sorry, but we live out in the middle of freaking nowhere. Sidewalks are not always a thing.
Touche.
There was a woman struck by a car last night near my house because she was in all black and didn't cross at a crosswalk. Yeah. I would assume she would be in serious condition today. Though it does suck for whoever hit her because that's a traumatic experience. It was traumatic just missing the guy. Can you imagine? I could imagine if we actually hit him. Just that. I mean, that would be a horrible feeling. Even though that it had nothing to do with us and it wasn't our fault, it still would have sucked.
Naturally.
Not to mention, the bike is going to pay for the damages to our car because he was standing in the middle of the damn road.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was probably on K2. Jacobs in Hanover, PA. Well, welcome, fellow PA brethren. No, we don't have a whole. I wouldn't say we have a whole lot of meth up here. I would say probably more like K2. Well, maybe there's some meth. Yep. I don't like TV. The TV cable corporation are dinos and are going extinct. Well, no, they're not going extinct. Some of them are moving to places like Netflix and YouTube, and they're finding other media sources. It is the cable networks themselves that are going to go freaking belly up. The freaking companies that produce the videos are not that stupid. They're realizing where the money's at. That's why they're invading our territory. But that's that. So you got another story there, Biggie? Or do any of you guys in the chat have a story you would like to share?
Well, there was one guy who blew a stop sign in a Walmart parking lot. Well, it's not even really a stop sign. It's like an implied stop sign.
Yeah.
But let me bring up the thing. So there's the road here that I was on. There's a three-way intersection right here, kind of.
All right.
And you can come out to this three-way from a little exit, right about here.
All right.
Right in front of it. I don't know why you would want to do that unless you're turning left, not right.
Maybe.
But I was going up to it, and this guy waited until the last second. Actually, no, I won't even say the last second. The most inconvenient time to just lurch out right in front of me, like he's gonna beat me there.
Right.
And I slam on my brakes, and he just looks at me like I have three heads.
Like, oh, where did you come from?
Yeah, for real. You don't see a big red Avalanche twice the size of your Jeep Cherokee from 1993. Jeez.
I'm not laughing at you, Vicky. I'm laughing at Pilot.
Oh, what do you say?
Pilot's Cadillac just wanted to let him know that that it's doing fine and that it's happy. I'm a happy little Cadillac sitting out in your driveway. I just felt lonely out here and needed to send you a message.
Yeah.
Stop sitting in there watching some stupid YouTuber come out and drive me. Not more
overly attached car.
Huh?
Overly attached car.
All right. The car's got borderline personality disorder.
Yeah.
It's feeling neglected. Next thing you know, it ends up in your living room. Why aren't you driving me?
Yeah. You're driving some other car, aren't you?
Oh, there's something wrong with us.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do this segment here while we have what's in the cup, Biggie.
I don't have a cup, actually. I don't know where it is.
You have nothing? You don't even have air tonight?
Oh, maybe I do have air.
Yeah, okay. Good. Well,
I got like a very little bit of some probably piss warm green tea.
That's my favorite flavor there, buddy.
Yeah.
I have one of those around here somewhere. There's a big green tea mango half-gallon Turkey Hill iced tea sitting over there with maybe probably just about just as much piss warm green tea in it.
No.
So anyway, I'm drinking my usual when I run out of cheap beer to drink.
Oh.
Drinking the Guinness, the black soup.
Guinness.
So, yep, the black soup.
Soup.
Oh,
I wanted to grab soup when I left work.
darn. I had soup for lunch.
What the heck?
It was a nice, highly exquisite ramen noodle soup.
Oh, it's a 5-star meal right there.
I know, right? And I made it even better by adding frozen veggies to it.
Oh, geez.
I just had to step it up a classy notch.
This guy's living the 5-star life.
Right? No, I'm living the pay child support life.
Yeah.
It does not leave room for freaking shrimp and steak. At least not for lunch.
No.
All right, let's get rid of this stupid what's in the cup banner here. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, I was really hoping that our stupid people would last more than a half hour.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, I'm not technically run out of stupid people freaking things, but I was actually hoping there would be more people up here on the live stream to be able to like chit chat with. Let's see. Little off topic, but hope okay. I will be premiere a 35-minute video of an industrial graveyard with tractors, trains, trucks, and other things this Monday at 8 p.m. Oh, yes.
Sounds interesting.
Those are definitely interesting. In fact, Alan, if you remember him, he does that Revenge of the Apocalypse channel.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Apocalypse, yes. Used to be AK Camaro 2017. He just premiered a video earlier this evening that I was sitting there chilling in. It was not Acme, but Ames. Do you remember Ames?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in a abandoned Ames store.
Oh dear.
And he was just him and a couple of his buddies were wandering around there filming shit. It was like I used to remember shopping in those stores. We had one that was down the street from where I used to live.
Yeah, we have one where the dollar store is now.
Yeah, they were all good until Walmart came in.
Yeah.
Walmart came into our town and just wiped them the fuck out.
Same.
Oh, they just wiped out just about everybody around where I used to live. Like you just watch them all just start folding up, and you can't. Yeah. Well, they couldn't beat the prices. They couldn't be competitive with the prices. And the funny thing is Walmart's weren't that great. Their prices were just that low.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The quality of the product and the variety of the products were nowhere compared to the Ames and other stores, which had a lot of different stuff, but their prices just couldn't compete.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? Says Grimm's Auto Service. Tonight is Stupid People on the Roads. So whether it's stupid drivers, stupid pedestrians, stupid bikers,
stupid animals,
stupid self. Can't say I've always been the smartest. I had a fucking cop right around the corner from my house. The one not long after I moved up here to Tamaqua. I hit a cop. I hit a cop. I was bone-ass tired. And when you come through the main street, which is 309 through my town, it's weird because as soon as you come into town, the left-hand lane becomes a left-hand turn lane. All right, it's like one lane splits off into two. The left lane is a left turn only. The right lane is a turn straight.
Yeah.
Okay, and the next one is the right lane is right turn only, and the left-hand lane is straight. So you're gonna have to do this like weird thing. And I was freaking tired, and I wasn't paying attention. And I get up to the second one where I should have been in the right-hand lane to make my turn to go to my house. And like I was just following the car in front of me, wasn't paying attention, and I realized at the last second, oh wait, I need to be in this lane. Well, the cop was driving a like civilian style Ford Fusion.
Yeah.
like a dark maroon color. Now, small town, there's not a lot of lights, like light lights.
Yeah.
And he was far enough up on my passenger side that I couldn't see his headlights. So like he was far enough up my passenger side that my mirror, my passenger side mirror did not catch his headlights, and neither did my rear view.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, oh, I need to get over in that lane. And yeah, we kissed right at the front. Like he was like right next to me. And I drive, this was like 9:00 at night. I had work that day. So I got up at 5:30 in the morning, drove all the way to work, worked all day, came home from work and went straight to Allentown. Which Allentown is about an hour from my work and about an hour from my house. So obviously, you know, went all the way out to I think I came home, picked her up, and then drove out to Allentown. So that was like 2-hour drive out there. We went to Allentown, whatever. By the time we came home, it was like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
I'm bone ass freaking tired. I've been out all day. And I didn't see him. And I mean, it wasn't like we were like, it was like, you know, bent fenders and damaged lights and things like that. No, it was some paint transfer. That was about it.
Yeah.
There was stuff on his mirror, and his front fender had a little dent in it. And I think the only thing that happened to our car was the stuff on the mirror. I didn't even see, there was a little tiny mark on the top of the fender, but it didn't even push the fender in.
Yeah.
It was just, we just kissed. Because I saw him right at the last minute and turned the wheel back.
And I pronounce you car and car.
Right. But it sucked. It had to be a cop that I hit.
Yeah.
And of course, he was a dick. You know, he couldn't have been just like, oh, you know, whatever. He's like, are you freaking stupid or whatever? I said, no, I just didn't see you.
Yeah.
I'm freaking tired. I didn't see you. Da-da-da-da-da. You know, it's whatever. Transfer freaking information. Of course, he had to call another fucking cop in. And, you know, to make a big freaking scene about it. You can't just freaking give me your information. I give you mine, and we handle this just like any other freaking incident.
Well, naturally.
No, of course not. So, and of course, it was like freaking like 20, it's like 30 degrees outside, and we're all freaking freezing standing outside the freaking car. It was just, you know, it's just a sucky situation. I mean, freaking shit happens. I mean, that's why there's insurance and accidents happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's my stupid people on the road moment.
It'd be funny if it was a marked car, and when you both stop, he walks up to your window. You know, I pulled you over. With the straightest face.
It was a police chief too.
Oh.
It wasn't like, you know, it wasn't a regular.
Yeah, it wasn't a marked car.
It was not. It was completely unmarked. In fact, if he wouldn't have gotten out in his police uniform and had his door open, you would not have known it was a cop car.
Yeah.
There was nothing on the outside that marked that as a cop car. Didn't even have the bubble light on the freaking mirror. Nothing. Everything was tucked up inside the car, up underneath the freaking headliner and shit. Like, you would not have, unless you saw his computer sitting there on the front seat, you would not have known he was a cop. Let's see what's going on. I'm surprised you guys aren't blowing up, freaking busting my balls. They keep putting roundabouts around here, and people can't figure it out. I absolutely fucking hate roundabouts. Have you ever had to deal with a roundabout?
Yeah.
They're fucking annoying.
I mean, I don't hate roundabouts as much as I hate people who don't know how to traverse one.
It's not that they don't know how to traverse them. I just find them absolutely fucking annoying. But I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're going to be,
I'd rather have a roundabout than a 4-way stop sign where it's just on like a ridiculous timer.
Oh yeah, no, unless you know how to freaking beat them by, you know, tripping the little freaking emergency EMS lights.
Oh.
A lot of small towns, their traffic lights, they have a light sensor that sits on top of the freaking, on top of the thing that is supposed to sense EMS lights.
Oh.
So they will automatically change the green for whatever direction the EMS lights are coming from and turn all the other intersections red.
It's pretty smart.
If you know how to play with your little headlight switch a little bit, and hopefully there's a little tiny gradient coming up to the freaking thing that you can trip that light.
Try that.
You can get them to switch. Most of the time they're in town, not necessarily always on a back road, because on a back road they'll just fly through the freaking red light.
Yeah, we got one kind of in town. It's We got a main road that heads out towards the next town over. It's got the used car dealership I got my truck from, one turn off into the Walmart parking lot, and our other one is shared with the McDonald's entrance
Yeah.
and exit. But like on the first one, that intersection, it's got a horrendous timer on
The
that
fucking
goddamn
stupid forever
road.
lights. We have
Yeah,
that.
it's like if you need to turn out onto the main road from Walmart parking lot, you're waiting like 5 minutes minimum. If you are on a red light on the main road, not turning in a Walmart parking lot, you have like 30 seconds, if that,
Yeah. Well,
before it changes green.
that's because their object is to keep the traffic on the main road flowing. Yeah, and it is all based on predicted traffic flow.
Dumb as hell.
Now we have that same traffic light that I was talking about where I had that accident. When I used to go to work in the morning, this is like I'd be hitting that traffic light like 6 o'clock, and if you don't get that to trigger, whatever, and you pull up there, you can sit there for a good. I've sat there for 7 minutes at one point. To the point where you make the right hand turn into the freaking gas station, turn around and go back out.
Wow.
Just to go, you just pull a Yui in the gas station and turn around and they'll still be sitting there. The other ones we would do is I would turn one street up and make a left and either come out at the next light over.
Yeah.
Or even which I really did not like doing if there was any sort of traffic flow on the main road. You can go around some buildings and pop out right next to the railroad track just on the outside of town. And it's the railroad track and a bridge, like an over bridge. So you can't see the other traffic coming your direction.
Yeah.
I don't like going that way because, again, you can get hit by the people coming up over top of the bridge. But there's no traffic light there. So it's all pick your poison. Which way do you feel lucky?
Yep.
And you got to be committed because once you pick one of them, you're stuck with it. You can still end up being stuck at the traffic light if you go to the next street over, or you also have the potential getting hit by somebody coming over the bridge. Now, coming into town, you have almost the same freaking issue. Coming into town, it's traffic. That's the only way into that town and to the towns beyond it because it's all mountains. So there's only, one or two paths coming into a town. Because the towns are built in the valley of the mountains. And what I would do is I'd come over that hill and I would bank that quick right and duck behind it and miss all those traffic lights leading up to the road that I needed to get on because you could be sitting there stuck there.
Yeah.
But again, it's all about timing too, because sometimes those people that do go through the traffic lights can sometimes get through there quicker than you can. Just because they have less turns. There's like 7 turns going the back way versus 1 turn and 2 traffic lights. What's going on in the chat here? We got Joe, like I said, Joe left, and feel bad for old people who have driven the same road for years and then they change the road about. Well, the problem is old people need to learn to change only because everything's changing around them. I mean, geez, look at the amount of change that happened from like 1900s to the 1950s, and then look at the amount of change from the 1950s to now.
Yeah.
I mean, geez. I mean, there's not much that's the same from, even say the 70s to now. I mean, geez, computers weren't even a thing in the 70s.
No, they were.
Not really.
Same form factor.
Yeah, well, not commercial, not like readily available. I mean, like.
Oh yeah.
They weren't an everyday commodity. They were just coming out kind of thing. I mean, they were still big, bulky, and slow.
Well, I mean, yeah.
They didn't do much more than what an average calculator does today.
That's literally pretty much what they did.
Yeah. So, you know what I mean? Compared to what we have now, I mean, geez, the power in this compared to the power that they had a whole room trying to do, equations.
Yeah.
this thing can do in literally milliseconds, where that computer still took 20, 30 minutes to do it. You know, that shit wasn't even anywhere near instantaneous. It just could figure out much bigger problems than the human brain could.
Yeah.
I mean, compared to today and like what I'm building right here. I mean, and the things that it can do. Oh. I think our chat died.
Probably.
I scared him away. You got another story there, Biggie?
Not one that comes to mind immediately.
I don't know what happened to Chris. He's not replying to my message, so I'm assuming he's on the road somewhere.
Yeah.
Let's see. I've had plenty of freaking stupid people. Was it that exact same night? Well, Alan, if you watched Alan's video from last week, he had that. He was in his new Jeep, the Revenge of the Apocalypse.
Yeah.
He was in that. He has several videos of people being freaking stupid. He catches on his dash cam. I'm like half tempted to go out and go get a dash cam just to catch these freaking idiots.
Oh yeah.
Welcome aboard, Jesse. Anyway, he has that one video. He pulled out onto the main road. He was making a left, and as he was going straight, I guess somebody decided they wanted to pull out of the side of the road. They're like in one of those parallel parking spots on the side of the main road.
Yeah.
Pulled out right in front of him.
Jeez.
Like literally would have turned right into him if Alan didn't see it coming and go out into the other lane of traffic. Like he had to cross double yellow lines to avoid this person.
Jeez.
That person still almost hit him. Yeah, that's on his channel now. If anybody wants to go take a quick peek at it, or maybe after the stream. So yeah, there was that one. We had the idiot. Oh, shit, what was it? I had a dude in the tractor trailer, and this is up here we have the 3-lane highways, where the lane all the way on the left is supposed to be for cars only.
Yeah.
So you have 2 lanes that tractor trailers can be in, and then the 3rd lane is cars only. And you know the way those are supposed to work is you're supposed to be in the lane furthest right that you can. You know, unless you're passing somebody.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, as the more left lanes you go, the faster they should be going.
Yeah.
You know, that's generally how those are supposed to work. So I was in the middle lane. I had people on my other side, and here comes a tractor trailer literally sitting on the back corner on my left-hand side. He's not even supposed to be in that lane.
Jeez.
And he's just cruising. He's not even passing me, nothing. Just sitting there.
Wow.
And I'm just watching the line of traffic backing up behind him.
That's absurd.
Right? So I'm like, you know what? I'm not playing this game. I put my left, I cut out in front of that truck driver, go out around the person in front of me. Oh, no, I didn't. No, I lie. I had an opening on my right-hand side.
Yeah.
I cut over into the right-hand lane, the furthest right-hand lane, past the guy that was in front of me, because he was just sitting there fucking chilling, and past him, and ended up getting away from that whole damn mess because, yeah, I don't like being crowded around with a bunch of people on a highway, especially when they're 3 wide and you have a tractor trailer on the far left-hand lane. It's just asking for somebody to do something stupid.
Sounds like you're describing a really weird NASCAR race.
Yeah, I mean that's the way the highways are up here. It's really weird because it is. It's just north of Hazleton, and then also just before you get to Wilkesboro, they have 3-lane sections of road. Mainly, it's because you have a bunch of hills, and so that allows the truck drivers to still be able to pass each other if you have a truck driver that's going slower.
Yeah.
But it also allows cars to pass the tractor trailers if the tractor trailers are going in both lanes and are both slow.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to help alleviate bottlenecks.
Yeah.
There's also one just outside of Allentown as well. But that's just because of the immense amount of traffic that's there.
Yeah.
It's not for, slow tractor trailers. It's just literally just to handle the I mean, the 3 lanes of traffic, and you can still get stuck in bumper to bumper.
Yeah.
Outside of Allentown, because there's just that much volume of traffic, and literally it's like 30 minutes. It's funny because it'll be deserted, and then in 30 minutes it'll fill up, pack up, can't move anywhere, and then 30 minutes later it's clear. It's hilarious if you actually sat there and watched the traffic.
Good Lord.
Because everybody gets out at like exactly the same time, and they all hit the highway at exactly the same time, and it's just like, nope, you can't fit that much through that little hole. Oh. The only thing I'm worried about getting a dash cam for my car is incriminating my own damn self, because even though I say that I'm in Mexico, that dash cam might say differently.
Oh.
Nah, man.
Yeah.
That same dash cam that's proving that the other guy's an idiot can also prove that you were speeding.
Get one that doesn't show your speed.
It doesn't matter. They can tell speed by just freaking playing the camera and literally just using telemetry. How fast something's going by your car as you're coming up to something.
I mean, they could.
They would.
Probably.
That same camera that might save your ass might also incriminate your ass. I am not a Sunday driver. I am not, driving.
Well, typically most states can't. Well, most of the time they can't do anything unless they actually catch you in the act.
Right.
Like a statute of limitations thing.
Or if you decide to post it on YouTube.
Well, I mean,
plenty of YouTubers have been busted by their own videos as well.
I don't know. You got me there.
Family cruising for to name one. So yeah, that's why people blur out where they're anything that would be incriminating as to evidence of what location they're actually doing what they're doing at.
Yeah.
Well, at least the smart ones do, and the smart ones also don't show their face while they're doing that act.
And they can't prove it was you.
Right, exactly. They can't prove it's you, and they can't reprove where you did it at. They can't charge you with the crime. We hope. I'm sure there's probably some clause to that as well. I mean, the best idea is just not to film yourself doing anything stupid, but then again, that doesn't get YouTube views.
Yeah.
It depends on risk versus reward, and how much you're willing to risk to get the reward, and how much can you afford to pay your lawyer.
Yeah.
The YouTube channel Boosted Boys crashed their car the other day because a lady stopped in his lane at a 4-way, and he avoided T-boning her and hit a curb and damaged their front suspension and oil pan. Yeah, and then you don't have to worry about it. And the funny thing is, regardless of whether you hit the back of that person's car or you hit the curb, right? It's still your fault.
Yeah.
The other thing is let's say you're coming up to somebody and somebody swerves into your lane of traffic. Okay? You swerve, missed them, but hit the telephone pole, right?
Yeah.
Whose fault that is? Even though that other person was in your lane.
Yours.
Yeah, still your fault. You're better off hitting the freaking car that's hitting you head on than it is to swerve to try to avoid it.
I saw something once.
If you continue in your lane of traffic and you like hit your brakes, okay, so you have attempted to avoid the accident without causing yourself to be in an accident of your own.
Yeah.
And they hit you, it's their fault. But if you swerve to avoid them, they miss hitting you, and you end up in an accident because they caused you to move, it's still your fault.
Yeah.
That happened to somebody that I know of, that they swerved to avoid an accident, ended up crashing their car anyway, and the other person wasn't charged.
This is a reminder. Medication.
Alexa, stop.
Stop it.
Means it's 10 o'clock. It's going to do it again.
It is. I saw a clip once on one of those dash cam compilation videos where someone was in the right lane doing like 65 or something like that, and someone like merged right in front of them. I guess because they had the dash cam, they
Right.
could prove that they like swerved out in front of him. The insurance company actually was looking for him, but they fled the scene.
All right.
And like the dude, it could have been bad.
Yeah. Jesse says that it was the other driver's fault. Yes, technically it would be the other driver's fault. She owned up to it, but they didn't want their car totaled, so they might not get anything from the insurance. The other thing is the insurance may still not want to pay it out, even though the other driver admitted fault. The other driver, the insurance may still refuse to pay out, only because the fact that technically, by law, it is the person behind's fault in anything in a rear accident, regardless of whether the other person's admitting fault or not, only because of the fact that they should have been following at a safe speed to be able to safely stop. Safe driving distance, I think, is the thing that they use.
Safe following distance.
Yeah, and if you had a safe following distance, you should have been able to stop in that amount of time for your given speed. And obviously, if they either A, they were going too fast for the road, or B, they were not keeping a safe following distance. And that's exactly what insurances will use. Been there, done that, regardless of whether the other person slammed on the brakes or not. If somebody even brake checks you, if you're the one following, unless they literally swerved into your lane and slam on the brakes, if you are following them and they slam on their brakes, you should be able to slam on your brakes as well and stop in time. Otherwise, you do not have enough the safe following distance.
Mm-hmm.
The lady was crossing their lanes. Okay, see, that's a different story. They weren't following her. We had a goof in Milwaukee that hit a family of 4 walking in a rental car.
What?
Was the goof in the rental car, or were the people walking in?
That's what he means.
Huh?
I think he means the guy was driving a rental car and hit a family of 4.
Okay. Cops couldn't prove who was driving his insurance.
Instagram
did. Oh my god! Yeah, it's like the freaking the father and son driving the fucking Corvettes through the tunnel. And I guess they were driving through the tunnel. I played the video. I'm not sure if you were there that
Oh
week.
yeah, I saw it.
And the one, I think it was I want to say it was the son that wrecked. Maybe it could have been either, because both cars took a freaking beating. The one car slammed into the back of the freaking SUV. The other car went around the SUV, lost control, hit the minivan, and then did a freaking couple turns. One of them got away, whether on foot or in the car, and the son posted it. The son got away, posted it to freaking Instagram.
Jeez.
So I'm guessing maybe the son was in the car that didn't. The dad, I guess, hit the SUV first, because the video was from the blue Corvette in the front.
Yeah.
So maybe he's the one that got away, but yeah, post it, and then of course, obviously the cops found it and just incriminated your damn self.
Yep.
But yeah, even if you take it down, somebody's copied and pasted that video.
Yeah.
Because they know when something like that goes up, it doesn't stay up long before somebody realizes their mistake of doing it.
Touche.
So, most smart people most smart people other than the dumb asshole that put it up to begin with were smart enough to copy it before it gets taken down.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, pilot, you left your VCR timer on. It must be a Flintstone rental car.
That's funny.
Yeah. We took our car for our walk today. Oh, that fucking Milo and Otis song just popped into my head. Do you know that one?
No.
It's a freaking. There was a movie when I was a kid about a cat and a dog, and their names were Milo and Otis. And there was this one song that plays, "Going for a walk today," and it's just it's actually a full length movie. It's actually kind of that's one that I've shown all of my kids too. But yeah, the song's stuck in my head now. Thanks. Oh. I'm sorry, that's still funny.
Mhm.
So, is there anything wrong with the truck today? Should we go with that one since I don't see any Chris today?
Ow!
There's apparently something wrong with a Big E today.
No, I turned around to look at something, and I turned back and hit my knee up a desk.
Ooh, I can't even stick my feet underneath of the desk. I have a Levino PC, and then I have that giant ass half XB freaking PC case next to it. Literally takes up the whole space under my desk.
Jeez.
That case is huge.
I guess.
I mean, it's what? It's definitely it's the width of my arm from my elbow to my fingertips.
You know, that's called 1 cubit, actually.
It is? Well, then that's a cubic case. Haha.
1 cubic cubit.
Yeah, literally. It's the same width in every direction. It's just a cube. It's huge, though.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like when we had it up here on the desk, it didn't look that big. Damn, I'm burping. But it is. It's huge. I mean, it fits a full. It'll fit a full ATX motherboard and probably one of the bigger ATX, whatever the next size up is. Going with the extra PCI slots.
Full ATX.
Yeah, it'll probably fit one of those. And like I said, it's obviously stacked funny because all of the main components go underneath of the motherboard instead of around it.
Yeah.
So it's pretty big.
That's what she said.
The Big D. Prefer the Big D versus the Big E. What?
Someone's putting a 7.3 in a Fox body.
Seventh? What, a diesel?
No, the Ford gasoline engine.
The 7.3 liter.
Yeah.
That's the 429? Well, 400 is a 6.6. And the
420. No.
What is Chevy's? Chevy's
427 is 7 liters.
So yeah, it'd be probably like a
450.
You're gonna make me look this up now. $455. 445.
Oh.
7.3 liters is 445.473 liter cubic inches.
Hmm.
I guess it's nicknamed Godzilla.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Ford's got to have a freaking, big V8 to freaking compete with the. I mean, how big is the Hellcat engine? Isn't that big, is it?
No, 6.4, I think.
All right, so that's a 427, I think, which is still actually pretty big. $390.
Yeah.
That's right, because 6.6 is 400.
Yeah, I was gonna say
that compared to old school engines, that is still small.
Yeah.
Because you weren't a big block until you hit up over 400. And in fact, even like Chevy, even Pontiac's 400s weren't considered big blocks. Chevy had a big block 400 and a small block 400 because, again, well, that's different because Pontiac never actually had a big block.
Yeah.
They were all the same block with different deck heights and different bores. Chevy definitely had a different big block and small block. Their exact blocks were different. Ford, a lot of Fords were not big or small block. They were either short or tall decked.
Yeah.
Same with Dodge. Unless you were counting something like the 427 Hemi, which was a completely different block altogether.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that it can technically be considered a big block. But it all, big block and small block, referred to the architecture of the block itself, not necessarily how many cubic inches it had.
Mm-hmm.
Good night, pilot. The FE Ford was a big block, and it went from 360 to 429, 428, and then they had a 460, which was really big. I don't consider anything in 360 cubic inches to be a big block, but that's just me. Let's see if they consider if the World Wide Web's considered that a big block. Yeah. 352, 360, 390, 427, and 428 engines. No. They have a wide intake manifold, but they are not the same as a big block. Ford's 429 and 460, etc. Nor is the FE a small block. So that is not technically a big block. So yeah, it's not a big block or a small block.
It's just a block.
No. It's the average block. It's a small big block.
Medium block.
Yeah, and they're right. This other one says FE is a just say FE block and be done with it. Big block and small block is a Chevy thing, which is true. No other manufacturer technically had a big or a small block.
Mm-hmm.
Cadillac did not. Cadillacs, they were all the same block, all the way from the little 325 all the way up to the 500.
Jeez.
It was all the same block. Pontiac, the same thing, all the way down from the 350 all the way up to the 400. We're all the same block. Buick's the same way. Buick didn't have a big block or a small block. Chevy's the only one that did. Mopars, they had short and tall decked blocks, along with the obviously like the 426, 427.
Yeah.
But I mean, I personally want a 572. I'd love to have a fuel injected 572.
Sweet Jesus.
Can you imagine that? Fucking big ass freaking like set up the 572 like the LSAs that are in the modern Camaros.
Good Lord.
Oh my God! Can you imagine a 572 cubic inch LSA?
That'd be crazy.
I mean, if they're making 1,000+ horsepower with very minimal effort off of a what is that? Is that a 6.0?
6.2.
6.2 liter?
I think so.
Okay, so that's what 327? 427, I mean.
No, that would be
6.
maybe
2. It is a 378.
Oh.
Oh, that's right. It's on the 6.6. Again, 6.6 is 400. I keep forgetting that. So it's 383 basically.
Yeah.
So they're basically taking a 383 and supercharging it.
Jesus.
Well, I couldn't say it's necessarily a 383 because the 383 was stroked and slightly bored 350.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what the bore and stroke are compared to a classic 383. But then again, you think about it, like most of the LSs that people rave about, if we were to go back to old school, would have been blocks that most people would have laughed at.
Oh.
You take like a 5.3, everybody's like, oh my God, a 5.3. and that's only
That's
323 cubic inches.
yeah.
That's smaller than a 327 that most people ripped out to throw a 350 in.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why if I were to put an LS in any of my vehicles, I want a 6.0.
Oh.
You know, the smallest I want to go is a 6.0. I mean, in worst case scenario, a 5.7.
Which is, well,
That's a 350.
yeah.
Which is the same size engine that's in my car now. The 6.0 is 366 cubic inches. Which is still smaller than I would like, but the chances of finding a 427 LS block are extremely fucking rare.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even sure. That would be the 6.9 liter or 7.0.
Oh.
They probably call it a 7.0. I'm going to say. Because knowing manufacturers, that's what they like to do. They like to round.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are 7.0 LS blocks out there because they had them in the Z28 Camaro.
Mm-hmm.
And they also had them in the Corvette.
Yeah.
So there are out there, but the chances of finding one of them are rare versus finding a 6.0. I mean, a lot of the Chevy and GM trucks had them. The Escalades had them. Any of the delivery trucks, the like little tiny, not quite a van, but not quite a full size truck.
Yeah.
Little box trucks. A lot of them had it. A lot of the short buses that were made by GM had the 6.0 in them. So yeah, I mean, I think that's what I would like to put in my Nova would be either a 6.0 or bigger. I was looking at going with an LSA, but then again, finding an LSA is not going to be cheap.
Nope.
That's finding LSA made a 427. Or was that the 4? Or was that what the 4 LSA is?
No, LSA would be a.
Yeah, the LSA is a 427.
Oh.
Yeah. It's what's in the ZL1s. It's a 427. So yeah, finding one of those. Let's see. What car has the LSA engines? The Cadillac CTS-V and the Camaro ZL1. 6.2 liter Gen 4 V8 small block, 451 foot-pounds of torque in the Cadillac, 456 foot-pounds of torque in the ZL1. But then again, you know, like I have a Copart account. Let me see if I can. If it'll let me in. CTS. There it is, CTSV. Search. I'm not even logged in, so. Let's see. How about sold? Can I sort this by sold? Filter options. Don't think I can with a base account. We're not logged in. But let's see if I can find any of them that that one's going for 10 grand. Looks like the engine's okay. I don't even know if that's an actual LSA block. Well, let me share a screen here so you guys can see what I'm seeing. There we go. That looks like an LSA block.
Yeah.
And this one for right now is going for 10 grand. Current bid.
I mean, there's an LSA alone on eBay for $99.95.
Yeah, but the only problem with that is knowing whether or not it actually runs.
Touche.
I mean, a lot of these ones will tell you whether it runs. Yeah, there's a little thingy here if I can remember where.
Price for that, you get the rest of the vehicle too.
Well, yeah, and that's the other thing is you can offset the cost by selling the rest of the parts.
Yeah.
Like this one, I don't think there's much left to it. I don't think I'm getting the engine out of that one.
No.
It's still the interior. Some of it.
Some.
But I mean, and that one was going for it's an upcoming. It didn't have a price yet.
Oof.
Oh my god, this computer is so slow. If I ever get to build my dream build, F250 pre-runner, I would want to have the twin carb 428 Cobra Jet engine under the hood. Now, if you're talking about the old school Cobra Jet, the problem with that is again, you're not getting the benefit of the amount of horsepower per weight ratio you could. You know, I mean, sure, I'd love to go with my old school block. But again, if you look at it, 400 cubic inches out of my classic Pontiac, you know, I'm making 280 horsepower. And honestly, you can't push them to more than 400 horsepower before you start running into actual block failure.
Jeez.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, you got to think about that. You know, where are you going to go with efficiency? I mean, if you're going to go with a modern vehicle or build anything modern and you're not going for classic aesthetics, why would you go with a classic block?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're going to get more horsepower per pound out of a modern engine. I mean, even me. Okay, I want to build for the Pontiac engine for the Trans Am. I want to go with a 455 old school block.
Mm-hmm.
Go with aluminum heads, an intake of a modern design from Butler Performance. Go with a fuel injected throttle body.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'm still only looking for decent horsepower and still trying to keep the classic look. Yeah. And even then, I'm lucky to have 600 horsepower. You know what I mean? And that's about as much as I'm going to be able to push that engine. You know, without having to spend some really, really, really big money. And even that's stupid money. Mm-hmm. I mean, you think about it, you're spending another $2-3 grand on an engine that you're only looking at getting moderate horsepower compared to today's standards.
Mm-hmm.
The average high horsepower car leaves the lot with 500 to 700 horsepower anymore. You know what I mean? You look at all the classic, you look at all the actual like monster, you know, big performance cars that are leaving lots today. Mustangs, Camaros, Hellcats, you know, Chargers. They're leaving with anywhere from 500 to 700 horsepower.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, it only takes a little bit more money and they're pushing 1,000 horsepower. There's no way you're taking a classic engine and even going to compete with that in the least little bit. And the thing is if you are going to push, say, that Cobra Jet engine to decent numbers, you're pushing it at the edges of its limits. It's not going to last long.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you may be able to get crazy, stupid horsepower numbers out of it, but for how long? Till it grenades itself. And the thing is they're not making Cobra Jet engines anymore. It's not a block that is currently being produced. So if you destroy it, that's it. It's done. Versus, you destroy a modern block, okay, go get another one. They're still making them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I did not talk to you, Google. Shut up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm all for classic engines, but not on a performance level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want a classic engine for aesthetic purposes or to be true to what the car was, fine. But if you're looking for performance or to use it for any sort of performance application, go with a modern block. They're a dime a dozen. They're going to cost you about the same to build, and you're not destroying something that can't be recreated.
Mm-hmm.
Just my personal opinion, and but that's just the way I view things.
Mm-hmm.
He says that it would be a 1968 F-250. You'd want it to fit the year, but again, that's fine and dandy. The problem is again, you're using a 1968 F-250 to do a pre-runner build.
Mm-hmm.
Those trucks are fucking heavy. You're actually probably doing. I mean, there's so much in the sheet metal in those trucks. And that's where they're heavy. They're not necessarily heavy in the framework. They're heavy in the sheet metal, which would make that truck top heavy. Unless you're going to swap out half of those parts to be fiberglass or carbon fiber or something more modern of material.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, at that point, then how true are you going to be to the aesthetics of the truck to begin with? It would have some performance. It would have some performance parts, but I like carbs and best no EFI is more efficient. The other thing is, the other reasons why I would say that EFI would be better than carbs in that setup, you're doing a pre-runner build. Carbs do not like not being on level ground. Did that come out right?
I guess.
Carbs, they like being flat and level. They don't like hills. They don't like bouncing.
Yeah.
Gas is a liquid. Carburetors use bowls filled with gas that are supposed to drain down a valve or sucked through a valve. They're not incredibly efficient once you start sloshing that stuff all around.
That is a good point.
Even race cars, they're not a really good option for race cars because, again, if you're going to go drag racing with them, as soon as you mash that gas, all of that thrust is going to throw that fuel all the way to the back of the car. You know what I mean? How efficient is it going to be at that point? I mean, fuel injection just makes sense when it comes to anything where you're going to have violent motion. And again, I am not a fan of fuel injection. I'm a fan of carburetors. I love them. But you got to go with what makes sense. And that just makes sense. If you're going to dump all that time and effort into building something, you want it to work well when it's done.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of carbs, the main World War II plane used by the British was the Spitfire. And it actually had, in some, I think, negative G conditions, it could actually, the carburetor could starve the engine of fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like what I was talking about. I mean, again, carburetors are gravity fed. And as soon as you start doing things that are going to cause there to be less gravity, like falling or accelerating hard, or anything where you're changing what direction the force is coming from other than down, carburetors are going to not work as efficiently.
Yeah.
And that's fluid dynamics, where you're spraying an atomized fuel through a pressured line There's, you know what I mean? The worst you got to worry about then at that point is the fuel cell.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why race cars don't necessarily drive on a completely empty fuel cell. Because again, they don't want that lack of fuel.
Yeah.
Especially when you're running high horsepower applications, even a small lack of fuel for a little tiny bit can have drastic issues.
Don't NASCARs actually have the fuel pickup on the right-hand side of the tank?
Yeah.
I thought so.
And they also have a sump, and they also have the fuel cell filled with foam and slosh dividers to help minimize the amount of fuel transfer from one side to the other in a corner. All right, see you later, Jacob. So, I mean, again, like I said, I mean, I would love to be able to keep a classic engine in like my Nova, but it doesn't make sense. I fought it for years, and I probably should have not have built the 350 that I threw in the Nova because, well, at the time it made sense because it was a daily driver, and that's what I was using it for. And I was also completely, what is that word when you're trying to avoid reality? I was trying to avoid the fact of having to build a car that didn't have a classic engine in it.
In denial.
To do, huh? Yeah, I was in denial. I was in modern technology denial. I mean, that's even still with turbos. I mean, yes, I know turbos are the better choice over a supercharger for the most part. I mean, geez, look at just Guitar-Mageddon's two cars that he had. He had the two basically almost identical ZL1s. One with a twin turbo setup that cost him half the money. And then he had the big supercharger setup, which he did keep that car anyway, but what car hit the records first? The twin turbo car. The twin turbo car with a full interior and the stock engine spanked his big tire, full roll caged, big supercharger, custom block car. I mean, his 2000, I want to say 2013 or 2014 ZL1 is a full purpose-built race car. I mean, the block, the transmission, the rear, all of it has been changed. Doesn't even have an interior in it anymore.
Jeez.
And his 2017 full stock interior, stock drivetrain, twin turbo car beat the world record first.
Jesus.
It just goes to show you, twin turbos are definitely, you know, better for drag racing than a single supercharger. Granted, the single supercharger makes more horsepower, but the problem is it makes all that horsepower right down there at the bottom of the RPM, and it just blows the tires off. He can't get the power down to the ground like he can in the twin turbo. Now, if you've ever seen both cars run, that big blower car is freaking violent. I mean, it sounds nasty. It just is. It's a violent car, but it's too violent for the tires and the track. They literally just can't get them to stick.
Stands to reason.
Yeah. All right. See you later, Jesse.
We're dropping like flies.
I know. That's okay. But today's comments, he said carbs worked back in the day in racing. Well, yeah, they did. But
back then we didn't have race cars that pull 5Gs.
Well, and also back then we didn't have fuel injection. Well,
where's mechanical injection?
Yeah, there was still fuel injection because the Corvettes and stuff had fuel injection. But the thing is it's not like the fuel injection we have today.
Well, yeah.
Back in the day, we had turbochargers. Were they as efficient as turbochargers are today? No, and that's why turbochargers were something that people laughed at back then. And now today, they're like, you kind of give your props to them. I mean, you look at the 301 Pontiac Trans Am Turbo. Okay, do you remember that car? Looks exactly like my. It looks exactly like my car, except for in 1981 and 82, they got rid of the big blocks or the big engines, and they went to the small cubic inch engines, and they threw a turbo on it to try to make up for the horsepower loss of the big engines.
Mhm.
It was laughable. The little 301 turbo car barely made any more horsepower than the stock 301 car did. It made an
Like
improvement.
it's defeating the purpose.
Yeah, it made an improvement, but not something that was like, oh my God, wow. Not like the turbocharged Grand National. You know what I mean? That one did actually do pretty decent. That was a 6-cylinder though, I'm pretty sure. That one did do decently. But yeah, you're right. There's a difference in technology, and they refined something and made it work a lot better. You maxed out the capabilities of what a carbureted car can do.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that you can't do with a carbureted car that you can do with fuel injection is air fuel ratio mapping.
Mm-hmm.
This is something you can't do. You can't control the air fuel mixture at all RPMs and in all need situations that the engine could need it for, which means you're not optimizing the horsepower per RPM.
Mm-hmm.
So again, even the throttle body fuel injection is not as good as the direct port. Because the throttle bottle, you're still only overall adjusting air fuel mixture. You're not adjusting air fuel mixture per cylinder.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, that's still a step up from a carbureted car. A carbureted car, you set it and forget it. You have one setting, and you are maximizing your air fuel mixture for a certain RPM
Mm-hmm.
at a certain load condition. And that's when it's going to run its best. Any other point above or below that is not going to be optimized. And the same thing with the timing. Okay, the timing's the same way. You're going to have one point where it's going to be really, really well optimized.
Yeah.
And that's what you tune it. When you tune a mechanical, even a vacuum advanced distributor and a carburetor, you're tuning it for a specific RPM.
Mm-hmm.
You're sacrificing all of the other optimized settings for any other RPM to maximize the performance in one area.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how carburetor and mechanical timing works. It can't dynamically adjust itself.
Naturally.
And that's why they're not as efficient. That's why an old school engine only made so much horsepower versus a modern engine that's smaller can make twice as much.
And probably using half the fuel.
Well, yeah, and using half the fuel. I mean, they're getting. If I were to build this Butler Performance Pontiac engine that I want to build for the TA, okay, that's making 600 horsepower, and it's still getting over 20 miles to the gallon. Versus if I leave the car alone the way it is right now, it's 280 horsepower and it's getting like 13 miles to the gallon.
Rip.
Why would I not want to go fuel injection?
Yeah.
I mean, that's even even before when I just thought about using the stock 350 that I have in the Nova now.
Mm-hmm.
I still wanted to throw a fuel injected throttle body on top of it to increase fuel mileage and make it run more consistent. Because even that is still an improvement over a carburetor. As much as I don't want to admit it, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Last year I tried to buy a fuel injected the
Holly thing.
Yeah, that Holly whatever that was like $1,400.
Yeah.
But yeah, even that I was trying to buy because it's going to be better in fuel, and if you want to drive your vehicles and you want to use them, you gotta go there. And I still can keep it looking classic but increase performance a little bit.
Yeah.
Hopefully I didn't lose you guys too much. We are at the almost 2-hour mark. I don't think I have any more stupid peoples. Yeah, Chris never saw the post, so I'm guessing he's either sleeping or whatever. What's up?
Apparently, on the hood of the 80s Trans Am with the 301 turbo, it's got this thing on the hood, and kind of like the old GTOs had the tack, but it said it's just 3 little lights, and it says turbocharged, just normal, medium, and high.
Oh, that was the old Trans Am, right?
Yeah, 1980.
Yeah. The buddy that dropped in here, I think last week, Mitch Gromes, he has a turbo TA, and yeah, that's what it does. And basically, it's just a vacuum gauge.
Yeah, or
that's all it
boost
is. And the thing is the high boost was not much.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's still carbureted.
It was carbureted with a not the greatest of turbos. It was very puny, and it didn't do very much to add to the performance.
Well, I was just reading that. Where was it? Was it on this?
Yeah, and he's right. It's a Sniper EFI, but was that the one that looked like the?
I think it was the same one.
I think that's what it was.
But the Wikipedia page says, according to some reference or whatever, yeah, that the wastegate could be safely user adjusted from, well, it was set to 9 psi. Real world factory default settings range from 7 to 10, and it could be safely user adjusted to 15 psi by adding alcohol or water injection.
Yeah. Yeah, and the one that I was looking at was the one that's supposed to mimic a quadrajet.
Yeah.
So that way it'll fit underneath the hood or underneath the air cleaner of most quadrajet applications. Yeah. Which is the reason why I wanted to go with it, because I mean the biggest thing with my Pontiac is I don't want to get rid of the functional, well, mine's functional now. Stock, it wasn't functional for 79. 79 didn't have a functional scoop.
Yeah.
Purely aesthetics. Mine is functional. It has the flap and everything. The only thing I need to do is get the flap to open up with throttle position. So it actually goes off a vacuum. When you pull enough vacuum, it opens up the flap to suck in fresh air from the outside.
Ow.
But I don't want to get rid of that. So I mean, that's part of the thrill of the Pontiac engine was the fact of that shaker, popping up through your hood and moving with the engine.
Mm-hmm.
When you thromped on the gas, that shaker went off. You know what I mean? It tilted to the one side. You could see the engine move. And when you sat there at idle and you had a nice cam in that engine, it, you know what I mean? That was part of the thrill of having the Trans Am versus having the Formula, because honestly, the biggest difference between a Formula and a Trans Am, the Formula did not have the shaker hood, and it didn't have the extra flaring, the extra ground effects around the sides.
Yeah.
You could get a Formula with the rear spoiler, and you can get a Formula with the same engine package as the Trans Ams, except for the SEs. The special edition Trans Ams had the higher horsepower engine by like 60, 70 horsepower. You couldn't get that engine in the Formulas. And you couldn't get the all-wheel disc brakes in the Formulas either.
Oh.
Now, granted, mine has rear discs, but that'll change. Welcome aboard, Nikolai. Nikolai should have all kinds of freaking stupid people on the road stories, considering he works for the fire department.
Apparently, the 301 turbo had a electronic spark controller and a knock sensor to retard timing.
Yeah. I'm not saying that they weren't attempting to be technologically advanced. They just didn't succeed very well at it.
Yeah, I mean, the hell was
it? Idea.
Official factory rating was 210 horsepower.
Yeah, but the thing is if you look at the horsepower for the 403 and 400 engines, they only had 220.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So you got to think about it. For what they were trying to accomplish, they kind of somewhat did it.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that those turbos sucked and they like to seize. So yeah, brand new, that car might have been something to freaking, something decent. But even the regular Trans Ams at the 420 horsepower, they were really good off of the thing is okay, what was the torque of that 301?
345 pound-feet.
345 pound-feet at what RPM?
It does not say.
Because that was the big thing, is the old school Trans Ams could get off the line really quickly. You know what I mean? They had a lot of torque, like close to 500 foot-pounds. Mm-hmm. But the turbo engines, you had to spool up that turbo.
Yeah.
So they didn't have the grunt off of the line like the big motors did. They were pretty close in horsepower and torque, but they still weren't getting that off the line.
Yeah.
That was a more of a highway screamer than a freaking traffic light to traffic light freaking stomper. Damn, a drunk jumping in front of a 13-ton ladder truck.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, I would consider that stupid people on the road.
Stupid people who need supervision.
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 I think I'm going to stay on till about 11.
11?
Yeah, because if I stay on too late and we don't have a lot of people in the chat, it actually starts to fast.
Oh, I see.
So if I keep them shorter, I mean, granted, if we had a shit ton of people in here, you know what I mean, I'd stay on.
Yeah.
But when we don't have a whole lot of people, like I'm running a little low tonight, we were doing pretty decent, up until like 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And then after 10, they started dropping. I mean, we had our diehard regulars we normally do. I know Grim is probably working on his vehicle while he's watching us. And so he's probably not in the chat, but I guarantee he's watching. And I know Nikolai's in here, and I think there's one other person that's probably in here besides me and you.
Oh.
Because I always got to remember that most likely probably two of the views that are in here is one is me and one is you.
Yeah.
And we have 5 people, which is why I'm thinking that the other 2, at least 2 of them are Grim and Nikolai. That hurts when the driver locks the brake up and all that weight shifts forward. Yeah, I would say so, especially if you're in the freaking passenger seat of that ladder truck.
Yep.
I almost met freaking windshield last night on the bike. Because I wasn't really looking when she first hit the brakes because I was reaching behind me to get the bottle of water out of the box in the back seat.
Mm-hmm.
And when I turned around, that's when I saw sneakers, wheel, and slam on brakes.
Yep. Oh, Jesus Christ.
What's up?
Finding torque figures for that engine is like nigh improbable.
That's because nobody really pushed it.
I guess.
You got to think about it. It wasn't considered a performance car at that point. I mean, and the thing is even if you did find numbers, they probably weren't accurate, only because they like to hide numbers back then. Like today, they're all like, "Hey, we're going to show you everything we've got. We know exactly how much horsepower this car's engine is making." Back in the 70s, the 60s and 70s, they didn't report how much the engines were actually making.
Mm-hmm. Wait a second.
Because insurance companies would go nuts. I mean, the 455 Super Duty from Pontiac reportedly made 100 more horsepower than the factory was claiming that it did.
Oh. Because
of insurance purposes. They underrated the engines to you know what I mean? So that way they could sell them.
I found something actually.
What's up?
The LU8, which I assume is the internal code for that engine's 301 turbo, and the W72, which the LU8 replaced, The
Well, the
LU8 is only 10
W72
horsepower less than the W72.
Well, the
But-
W72 would be the Trans Am version of that engine. Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand. The anything that's W was the Trans Am version.
All right. Anyway, the LU8 had 345 pound-feet of pork. Oh my God.
Pork.
345 pound-feet of torque, not pig products, at 2,000 RPM. And the W72 was 320 pound-feet at 2,800 RPM.
Wait, say that again.
320 at 2,800.
Yeah, 2,800.
So it's 25 pound-feet more at 800 RPM less.
Right, which is normally what you want.
Yeah.
You want torque lower and higher. You want horsepower higher up at a higher RPM. But yeah, like the 455 Pontiac HO made like 100 horsepower more than what the factory said it did.
Jeez.
When Hot Rod Magazine or whatever got a hold of one of those engines,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and that I mean there was some lower horsepower engines that were produced, but there was a couple also select few that were supposed to be mated with manual transmissions that made a lot more horsepower.
Yeah.
They weren't talked
Well,
about.
with the when the R35 GTR first came out, there was quite a bit of variance on the power. Like some people were reporting it was on par, some a little less, some a lot more.
Right. And again, it all depends on, it all depends. It depends also what they were intending those particular motors to go in. Some of those motors were meant to only go in race cars,
Mm-hmm.
even though a lot of them ended up in actual street cars.
Whoopsie.
Nah, not necessarily a whoopsie. Some of it was done intentionally, just on the down low. Oh, that's the third one that I remember. I said that there's 5 people in here, and I knew that 2 of them were me and you.
Yeah.
It's probably Grimm, Nikolai, and Classic Ride Society.
Now, stands to reason.
Yeah, because in there he just peeped in and said he's probably doing the same thing that Grimm is doing. Oh, so have you ever seen a Chevy 302?
Negative.
I did once,
This
it
one
was
time?
it was only the short block. It was actually in the barn with the 305 that I had before I bought my Nova. I had an engine that I had bought from my neighbor. It's just a 305. I was going to go throw it in, just had it for shits and giggles. It needed to be rebuilt, which was what I was going to use it for, just for rebuilding purchases. Before I was in school for automotive.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was the regular 305, there was a 305 Y block, and then there was the 302. But yeah, so I've seen one. In all of my engine stuffs, I have seen one 302 Chevy. That was old. Even when that was back in 2000 and no, not even late 1990s.
Jeez.
So forever ago.
Yeah.
You is nothing but a small squeak.
Yeah.
A small bunch of coconuts.
Huh.
So I guess we've been here long enough that you guys are all diehard peoples here. We can give an update on channel update. We can do that. Dodge truck, same exact position it's been for the last God knows how long. I have not gone up and gone checked on it or done anything with it because it's been too cold and too wet. And
Understandable.
fuck working outside and too cold and too wet. Plus, I've been also dealing with the new job, getting the new job and all of that stuff. So there's been a shit ton on my plate. Not to mention any spare bit of money that I've had have gone into buying computer parts.
Yeah.
So that brings me to, and the Trans Am and the Nova are in the exact same place as well. Again, all of my financial efforts have been into trying to get this computer up and going so I can go back to editing videos. Does not make any sense to be creating videos if I can't edit them.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the last two parts, the power supply and the RAM that I needed to get the computer up and running functionally, I just purchased technically on Sunday morning. No, yesterday morning, yesterday afternoon.
Mhm.
Amazon Prime, 2-day shipping, should be here tomorrow. I'd actually originally bought them. We'll put them in the cart and went to go pay for them like at 1 o'clock in the morning on Saturday.
Jeez.
No, Friday. So I'd actually originally purchased them Friday. It was Saturday and I hadn't seen any shipping updates, and I'm like, and I also didn't see the money being taken out of my account. I'm like, Jess, did that actually go through? And she looked at it, it's like, oh nope, there's a payment information update needed. So they ended up having my old card.
Oh yeah.
Like my old card information, same number, different expiration date and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I had to re-put in the new information, and then it went through. So, which is why it wasn't here this morning. The original intent was to have those parts here this morning, and I could have actually have been building this computer while doing this live stream.
Sweet Jesus.
That was kind of the intent, the original intent. But unfortunately, those computer parts will be here tomorrow, and I am not waiting till next Sunday to build that computer. Forget that. No, I'm building it. There might be a live stream with me building the computer. May or may not be. I don't know. Depends on how much I feel like fiddling with that crap. I might just film it and then edit it and put it up later. Probably, if I were going to do anything, I'd probably do a live stream though. Only because I don't have to edit that.
Yeah.
It just means you guys got to sit here for 2 hours while I put a computer together and do cable management and boot up Windows.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I need to find my Windows application, my Windows activation for Windows 10 from back when I did the other computer.
Yeah.
Because that should still technically be active. I only use it on one computer. I don't know. Maybe not.
Which computer?
The other half XP computer that I did.
Oh.
That one back in 2015 when Windows 10 like first came out.
Yeah.
So technically, I still have that activation code somewhere. Except whether or not I can still use it, I don't know.
If not, you should be able to find.
Oh, I can rock the free copy with the stupid watermark in the bottom corner.
Yeah, but you can usually find what was I'm thinking of? Oh yeah, keys pretty easily online for pretty cheap.
Yeah, it depends on whether or not they're actually North American keys or not.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them are actually not intended for North American sales.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're just basically buying a bootleg copy of Windows 10 anyway, and you're just getting rid of the watermark, but it's still not a legal copy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it depends. Windows 10 is not technically, I guess. How much is Windows 10?
Like, probably $90 at least.
It's not too bad. But then again, like I said, I can rock the stupid fucking thingy for a little while. Windows 10 Pro, how much is it? $630 on eBay. And it's about $100 for an actual legit copy. From Microsoft itself, it's $200.
Jesus.
Yep, just went to Microsoft. Microsoft Windows 10 Pro is $199.99.
Oh, that's Pro. You don't need Pro.
What's Pro? The other one does not.
I'm not positive, but I have Windows 10 Home. Seems to be doing fine for me.
Yeah, there should be a list of what's the differences. I think maybe more than one license, maybe. If you run a small business and want enhanced functionality, Windows 10 Pro is the way to go. Most security protection built in. Windows 10 Pro comes with built-in security features, including firewall, internet protections, and safeguards against virus, malware, and ransomware. You love your phone, so does your computer. Pick up where you left off, wherever you left off in web pages, office docs, photos. Read, write, and edit them across all of your devices. Easily manage your business in the way you want. Windows 10 Pro offers simple and flexible management so you can get more done. Let's see. Okay. What is the differences? Okay. We got a spreadsheet here with it. Windows 10 both have battery saver, both have continuum, both have Cortana, both have device encryption, both have Microsoft Edge. All right, what is the differences? Assigned access, BitLocker, domain join, enterprise mode, Internet Explorer. The fucking Explorer sucks. Group policy management, Hyper 5, remote desktop, trusted boot, Windows Store for Business, Windows Update for Business. Max RAM support 2 terabytes.
It's a lot of RAM.
That is a lot of RAM. More RAM than I would ever use.
Yeah.
Oh wow, there's Home Pro, Enterprise, and Education.
Oh. Sweet Jesus.
The only device, Windows Home only has device encryption 6. Pro has domain join, group policy management, BitLocker 2, enterprise mode, Internet Explorer, assigned access 8.1, and remote desktop. Enterprise, this is stuff that Pro doesn't have, and obviously Home doesn't have. Direct access, Windows 10 to go creator, or Windows to go creator, app locker, and branch catch.
Huh.
Windows 10 regular copy non-assigned. You cannot use non-Windows Store apps, and you can't change the default browser.
Oof.
And there is no Windows subsystem for Linux. And is not compatible with most PC peripherals. Windows 10 Home does not have Windows Store for Business. Does not have Windows Update for Business. BitLocker disk encryption, shared PC configurations, domain join on-premise, Azure AD domain join, has limited mobile device management, and no enterprise state roaming. And that's well, and this is, I don't think this page loaded completely correctly, but Windows 10 for Education does not have Cortana.
Boo-hoo.
That just felt that as odd. Because normally, like everything that Step Up has, what the lower tier did, just gain a few things.
Mm-hmm.
You actually lose Cortana when you get the Education. It's the only thing you lose. You have everything else.
You just get to learn how to do it yourself.
All right. So Windows 10 Pro and Enterprise looks like it is all the same things. I don't know. It would have to depend.
Yeah.
Can I find a Pro edition somewhere?
What the hell? Holy crap.
What's up?
An 1100 horsepower naturally aspirated V8.
Where's that? That's 1100 horsepower isn't necessarily that far.
It's in the frame rails of a C5 Corvette.
That'll push it.
Yeah, it's a half-mile car, 194.21 miles per hour. From a 7.4-liter LS6 revving to 9,200 RPM.
All right. Well, it's 11 o'clock at night. Hey, Ken, I see that you just joined. And Classic Ride Society says his PC took a dump. He edits on his phone. Well, the problem is I'm above the my phone cannot do what I want it to do as far as editing. It is my I'm trying to find a nice way to say this. My level of editing has exceeded what my phone is capable of doing.
Rip.
So yeah, using my phone is good if I'm on the go and I can't get to my computer and I need to edit something and put it out. But it gets really, really frustrating when you're trying to do edits and the phone itself is what is holding you back.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, we're going to say goodnight for tonight. We're going to say goodnight for tonight. That makes sense.
Makes sense.
I guess it does. Anyway, we're gonna call it a night and catch you guys next week. And hopefully by next week we are back to the old formula. The old formula of, or at least the old way that I was doing my YouTube videos before. Between YouTube and my computer, they decided to all take a shit at the same time, and I had to resort to using StreamYard. So, it may the next couple of weeks.
My God, your grammar is on point tonight.
I know, right? I'm one beer in. Well, again, it's been like 2 hours, but yeah, I'm not even buzzed. But apparently, my mouth has stopped working.
Yeah.
But it may be a couple weeks till I get everything on point again as far as getting everything smooth and consistent. So there might be a little hiccups in the next couple of weeks, but hopefully you guys will stick with it and we will be back to making videos and having a little bit more of a dynamic live stream. So catch you guys next week. Don't forget to check out my Teespring and Teespring account for all the latest merch. Please, somebody just view the thing. Spend a lot of time and effort on those t-shirts. Be nice to see some of you guys wearing them. And I will catch you guys next week. You want to head them out there, co-host?
Hang on a second.
Or just put something on your forehead?
I'm bleeding from my forehead, okay? Leave me alone.
Oh my God, the virus is spreading.
Yeah, for real. Just pick the head off of his zit.
Oh, lovely. You could have waited like 5 minutes.
No, I couldn't have.
Was that bugging?
Yeah.
Starting to turn into a unicorn?
Yeah. Just like this long.
All right. Well, I'll catch you guys next week. So long. Take care and be safe.
Don't pick zits on your forehead.
Don't pick zits on your forehead. Correct. All right. Goodbye.